let's make some money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need it, we need it.
That'll help, right?
But that's so big, you know, I don't wanna get a meeting like that.
You just want to be a millionaire, you just want to make a better living.
Exactly, that's what I want.
Right.
Oh, thank you. And I also heard that you were,
Have been since 1979, but I'm ready to give up my license. Yeah. I was going to tell you, remind you to turn it off.
I was.
Well, or have been. Either are or have been. Have been through the process of purchasing before. So just about everybody in class. Which means that some of this language may be recognizable to you, even though maybe the broker didn't do that good a job, you're going to do better than them. The reason for the question is what's coming up right now is in the three general phases. The construction part, which is the speculative or the custom homes or the tract homes. How many of those that were homeowners at one time or are still lived in a subdivision, a name like in a neighborhood, whether it was gated or not, or a condominium? Some of this language is going to be also things that you've heard before, like homeowner association or condominium association. There are things that you're going to see in this book that are normal language, although you may not have any idea that that's what it was. But it also helps to put it together. So and do join the class once in a while. And, you know, if you don't understand something like homeowner association, did you know that they were called restrictive covenants?
I didn't know that.
No.
So unless I call it homeowner association, you may not know what we're talking about, and yet the documents call it restrictive covenants. So if you've ever seen them, you'll see restrictive covenants. Restrictive covenants. What's a covenant? Under the Bible, what's a covenant?
It's like a contract.
Yeah.
You're contracted.
It's a rule, it's a law.
It's a law.
Well, restrictive, what does restricted mean?
You're allowed to do certain things.
Or you're not.
Or you're not.
Restrict. Okay,
Right.
so restrictive covenants in a homeowner association or a condominium association, which is a little different, but essentially they're telling you everything that you can't do. They don't really go out and tell you what you can do.
Right?
They really tell you what you can't. Well, this is more or less the same thing that I talked about in the first few minutes of the class. Most of this book is going to be what you need to do to protect the public, what you can't do, and I didn't use those words yet, but I'm going to. Your behavior as a professional violation may be a violation and could cost you not only your license, could cost you dollars, could even cost you jail. Unfortunately, when a profession is regulated, and this is a regulated profession, you have to be very careful. They're getting louder.
Yeah.
Very good.
They're getting into
If it gets to the point that we can't continue, then I may cut it off at the end of one chapter. We'll catch up. Number one. Number two, I thought about it, and I'm going to give you an option, but I need a majority or almost everybody agreeing. Instead of doing 30-minute break, and I don't care, okay? I'm leaving it entirely up to you. I did it so that you could have a break because I noticed that Dunkin' Donuts is not any you know, it's a little further away, and you may not be able to do that in 15 minutes. And there's nothing down there that you can go by. So if you want, and you all agree, we can cut the break from 30 minutes to 15 minutes, and then instead of leaving at 10 o'clock, we'll leave at 9:45 or 9:40. But you don't need to decide right now, but I do want an answer by the end of the class, what you all think. And if you all agree, and if you want to leave it like this, I don't have a problem at all. So just think about it and see what you want to do. Other than Dunkin' Donuts, I didn't notice anybody else leave. but it may not be always the same. You might come hungrier. Also, the fact that you guys all work during the day, and this is for the month of March, your second job, or your third, you might be overly tired, so I don't know if the break is helping you or hindering you. Help me out and make a decision on what's best for all concerned. We're gonna cover the material, so it doesn't matter, okay? All right, let's talk about, again, development and construction, the three general phases. Well, like anything else, it comes with, you have to find the land, okay? So land acquisition means purchase or acquire. So land acquisition is the first thing. You may be called upon by a developer or a customer who wants to be a developer, who wants you to find them a tract of land that they want to build a condo, or they want to build whatever it is that they want to build. So finding the vacant parcel that has never been built before to do what it is that they want to do. The second is what we call pre-development, and there's a couple of areas. As a contractor for over 30 years, I can give you a little bit more than the book will tell you. Not that it's test worthy, but so that you understand a little bit more. When a developer decides, and let's just say that it's going to be something like single family or townhouses or whatever. A developer has an idea of what they want to do, they just don't know how to go about it. They read the zoning book, and the zoning book says, hey, for this parcel they can build 24 units to the acre. If it's single family, maybe only 3 or 4. If it's townhouses, it may be 18 to 20. If it's condominium, maybe 20 to 24. So the developer may not have an idea, but they have an idea how much they want to make after everything is said and done. So you may have to help them by knowing the zoning. Look, this parcel of land has never been developed over here, it's in the middle of everywhere, but the most that you can build in here is single family, and you're only going to get 3 or 4 units a year. And you want to get 24, then we got to find a parcel that's zoned multi-family, so that you can build condos or rental apartments or whatever it is that you want to do. So you have to have a little knowledge when you're doing work for somebody in acquisition. You want to be able to guide them in the right direction. Always remember that you're considered the expert. And if you don't know how to go about it, find somebody in your office. If it's not your broker, somebody else in your office that will be happy to work with you and has the proper experience. Again, having to share your commission with somebody may be the difference between doing the deal and not doing it at all. Okay? Plus, the amount of time that you're going to spend doing all the research when you don't know anything about it. So you have, in the land acquisition, you have to be a little bit cognizant about what it is that developer, that owner wants to accomplish. That's like listening to the buyer in their estimates of what they want, what kind of a house they want. This is basically the same thing. You're absorbing the information, and with your experience, you're tracking it. You're going to spit out. Maybe at the end of the day, you have more questions than answers, but so does he. Okay, he or she, them. So that's the pre-development, figuring out what kind of product before they acquire the land. Worst thing you can do in this business is push them towards something, and then they can't do what they want. Or, for instance, anybody ever been to the Keys? More or less, one time in your life?
Yeah, one time.
I wanna go. I've
Yeah.
been here
One time.
for just 2 years. I wanna go. Everybody's
Okay, well, you haven't gone, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Except, you can't build in the Keys.
You can't? You
No,
cannot?
there are vacant lots, but you cannot build in the Keys because they're over, they don't have any more capacity in water and sewer. So here's what has to happen. You push somebody, hey, I found a lot, it's for sale, and you want to build your house, and I got the perfect lot for you. It's on the water, it's great, blah, 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 and they buy it. They didn't ask anymore, they trusted you. And all of a sudden they buy it and they find out they can't build. It's a buildable lot, but they can't build. So here's how the Keys does this. They do by trading points. You have to then buy a second lot and actually almost give it to the city for them to give you the points that it's worth in order to transfer them to the lot that you want to build. Because there's no more built. They don't have any more capacity. So what you're doing is buying a lot that maybe it's not buildable, but it's got a size. And that size has got a value in points, and you're giving them the lot for free, but you're taking the points and applying it to the lot that you want to build. If you don't know those things, you could be in real trouble. Or let's say in Homestead. Homestead, I want to have acreage. You know, I'm tired of this, having a wall 10 feet away from my house. I want to see cows, and I want to see horses, and I want to see. And I'm going to build a house for all of my kids. Different houses in one lot. I want the whole family separate but together. Well, guess what? You sold them a lot that's only one house per 5 acres. And that's what you sold them. So zoning has got a lot to do with the product. Okay, be very, very, very careful. And that's things you're not gonna learn in this book. You're gonna actually learn through life. Okay, but the next step is actually subdividing and development. Subdividing is the theory put on plan that they want to build, whether it's a condominium where the buildings are, how tall they are, how big they are, how many units they are, or if it's a townhouse, how big are the lots and how many units in the structure, the size of the streets, the size of the parks, the size of the lots and everything else. That's subdividing in theory. Then comes the area of development. Now development is it's not yet the building of the buildings. Development is the part where they're bringing in the pipes for the water, they're bringing in the pipes for the sewer, they're bringing in the cabling for Comcast, they're building in the cabling for, you know, whether it's any other utility company. That's the development. Plus, you're filling the lots, you're taking down the trees that you need to take out, you're actually building the roads, the sidewalks, and the last thing you got is the parcels where the buildings are going to be built. And then the last part is actually the construction. There are 3 types of construction. You have, obviously I'm on page 9, if you want to follow it. There's the spec home, the speculative. That's the guy that maybe buys only 2 lots, and he starts building, or just put them out for sale with a theory of what the house is going to look like, but they don't really start building, or maybe just a portion, so that the buyer that comes in can pick their carpet and can pick their colors and can pick. There's the custom home that they need to go to the architect. There's nothing there, and the developer is doing nothing until that architect actually does the entire design. And then there's the track home, which is everything else that you're used to seeing. This developer over here that has models A, B, C, and D, and they did all these A, B, C, Ds, and you get to pick the one that you want, either this side of the street or that side of the street, and if you're lucky, they haven't totally built it, and you get to pick your colors, because if they finished it, you don't even get to pick your colors, other than maybe the tile and everything else is built. So there are 3 specific types of construction. Again, there's the speculative, which means that they start building, and they may end it, but it's only 1 or 2 or 3 homes for spec. They don't have the money to build 50, 60, 80 at a time. They basically just buy 2 or 3 lots, and that's what they do. And they try to sell it before they're actually completed. The custom home, again, that's what it means, custom. Everything is to their liking. It's not Model A, Model B, Model C. It's actually they went to an architect that listened to their story and came up with this design. And the track home, which is every major neighborhood, whether it's Kendall Lakes or West Hialeah here, or whatever they're called, any one of them. That's where most of the developers do their things.
Is that the speculation building
Yes, sir.
that there's some people that bought before the, like what they call the, reconstruction? Did that
Um,
get into it?
Yeah,